exposed, and we've seen its underbelly. But this time forth, this is unprecedented. Never in the history of his country has the IBC gone to court with divided commissioners. So what will this really portend, even, of course, for this particular ruling? We shall be looking at that and much more here on Morning Prime. I'll be joined momentarily by Gladys Bose-Cholet, who is a woman rep Uasin Gishu County. Also will be joined by Senator Okongo Mogini, who is a senator of Nyamira. We'll be joined also by Farah Malim, who is a newly elected member of parliament for Dadaab. And we'll be joined by Wilson Sosion, who is a former nominated member of parliament. We have a packed show this morning, but I'll be remiss if I don't show you what is off the press this morning. That is off fresh the press this morning. We shall be looking at our dailies as well. We'll begin with the bold paper, which is holding this particular splash for you. Raila versus CHebukati is a splash today. Petition. Azimio team believes it has a watertight case to prove election was not free and fair, and that the Supreme Court judges should overturn CHebukati's declaration. Meanwhile, Kenya Kwanza has instructed its lawyers to defend their win vehemently. Both sides will spend hundreds of millions to prove their point in the next 2 weeks. And we have this story well laid out for you on page 4 and 5, 6 and 7 of the Standard this morning. An issue is likely to dominate Azimio case at the Supreme Court. 1, the case will be crystallized around the announcement, the numbers, verification, the split in commission, IBC's representation in court, and process. 2, Azimio says the process was not transparent and that the commission did not display the results on the screens at Bomas of Kenya as they trickled in. They have 3. Azimio are also banking on disparity in numbers. If the numbers of votes declared will exceed those cast, IBC will have to explain how they arrived at the winner. 4, questions on the number or on the numbers in Psalm 434 and 34B will also be at the heart of the case. It is alleged that in some cases the votes for presidential candidates exceed or are less for other positions. 5, the coalition will also go for the Kenya Integrated Election Management System, that is KEMSI kits. They will push for audit of a kit to compare the tally of votes cast. So those are the 5 key issues that are likely to dominate Azimio case at the Supreme Court. Remember, they have until today midnight. The 7 days elapses today. So today will be the big day that, of course, they should be filing this petition and also providing any evidentiary documents towards that as well. And part of the Azimio La Umoja's legal team, you can see their faces here. We have Feroz Nuroji, James Orengo, Professor Tom Ojenda, Philip Morgo. We have Kioko Kilukumi. We have also, this is Kenya Kwanza's legal team, I should say, Kioko Kilukumi. We have Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, Professor Githu Muigai is the IBC lawyer. Also, we have Wafula CHebukati. As I mentioned earlier, IBC comes also to the courts divided with 2 commissioners, or we have the 3 commissioners against 4. So this will be a new scenario that we've never seen before in the courts. Still on the front page of the Standard this morning, Uhuru walks a tightrope on transition. With the president having taken an active role in the campaigns and elections, Kenyans are watching to see how he will hand over power should the courts endorse his deputies win. And you have this story on page 12 and 13 of the Standard this morning. Calamity at Chelsea after Leeds thrashing. This is on sports page today. Will Liverpool repeat 5-0 Trafford rout? That is another question there. You can follow that inside the sports pages of the Standard. This is how it looks this morning. Let's see what we have on the front page of the Daily Nation. It's in their hands now. The big legal face-off. All eyes shift to the theatre of the Supreme Court today as Raila Odinga files his petition against William Ruto, whom he accuses of usurping the will of the majority by stealing this month's election. Both camps have assembled heavy-hitting legal teams to defend their cases. But after all the drama and courtroom spectacle of the coming days, it will all boil down to Chief Justice Martha Koome and her team of 6 judges. The story is on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation today. And you have the faces of the justices there: Philomena Mbete Mwilu, Isaac Lenaola, Mohammed Ibrahim, Smokin Wanjala, William Ouko, and Njoki Ndongo. And the Chief Justice, of course, Martha Koome. Looking at the sidebar there of the Daily Nation, Kalonzo reinvents himself as Giants fall. Is another story that you want to follow on page 10. Also, family of this is a drowned Kenyan nurse starts a GoFund campaign. The distraught family of Helen Wendy, the Kenyan nurse seen on Facebook live video drowning in a swimming pool in Canada, is appealing to well-wishers to help bring her body back home as her brother and boyfriend speak of the last conversations with her. You have the story on page 3 of the Daily Nation this morning. Let's see how it looks on top here. And the fading legacy of Jomo is what you can follow there on page 7 of the Daily Nation this morning. As Kenya marks 44 years since the death of founding President Jomo Kenyatta, today it will be the second time in a row when there will be no public events, as had been the tradition, amid fears that his legacy could be heading to oblivion. 2 years ago, his family made the surprise announcement that commemoration of his death will henceforth be a private affair. But what needs to be done to secure his legacy? That is the probing question there. And you have the story on page 7 of the Daily Nation this morning. People Daily is here, and this is what you're waking up to on the front page of the People Daily. Raila's prayers in election case is what is a splash here. Petition D-Day. Azimio flag bearer likely to ask Supreme Court to order a fresh tallying of presidential election votes and declare winner. But he has to file papers by 2 p.m. After that, CHebukati and Ruto will have 4 days to reply before hearing starts on the 8th day. You have the story on page 4 and 5. One more time, Petition D-Day. Azimio flag bearer likely to ask Supreme Court to order a fresh tallying of presidential election votes and declare winner. But he has to file papers by 2 p.m. After that, CHebukati and Ruto will have 4 days to reply before hearing starts on the 8th day. And of course, we'll be having legal minds here. We have senior counsel also, Okongo Mogini, will shed light on the timings there. Is it by midnight today or 2 p.m. for them to have filed their papers at the Supreme Court there? People to watch on this particular legal battle is William Ruto, Wafula CHebukati, also CJ Martha Koome, and Attorney General Paul Kihara there. And you can see also here instead of Azimio One Kenya presidential candidate Raila Odinga, his running mate Martha Karua, and other coalition leaders during yesterday's church service at Jesus Teaching Ministry in Nairobi. Azimio is set to file a presidential election petition by 2 p.m. today. We have their bites here, and Martha Karua, she's saying, quote unquote, without justice there can be no lasting peace, because justice is the foundation of lasting peace. Also, Raila Odinga says the victory of the people will not be stolen. The victory of the people will be known because we know it, and it will be known starting tomorrow, which is today. That's what he meant yesterday. KRA exceeds target, collect 130.6 billion shillings in the first month of new financial year. You have this story on page 16 of the People Daily. Magoa rules out changes in school calendar. Magoa rules out changes in school calendar. You can follow this story on page 14 and 26 of the People Daily. Shortage of fuel looms over debt. Marketer says Treasury is yet to pay them 65 billion shillings that has been outstanding since June, making it difficult for them to continue supplying commodity. So, brace for some hard times ahead with the looming fuel shortage because of this particular debt as well. This is the People Daily. We have Taifa Leo ngoma yaanza. This is what it says. Huku Raila akilenga kubatilisha ushindi wa Ruto, rais mteule yuko macho kuhalalisha matokeo. Mrengo wa Azimio, you have the legal team there led by Paul Mwangi, Otene Amolo, James Orengo. On this other side, we have Fred Ngatia. This is Kenya Kwanza, Nelson Havi, and Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi. Mrengo wa Azimio la Umoja One Kenya ukiongozwa na Raila Odinga leo utafika katika mahakama ya juu kuwasilisha rasmi pingamizi zao dhidi ya ushindi wa William Ruto katika kinyang'anyiro cha urais cha Agosti 9. Mawakili wenye tajriba pevu watarajiwa kuongoza makabiliano I should say, haya ya kisheria. You have the story on page 2 of Taifa Leo this morning. Hayati Kenyatta kukumbukwa. You can follow the story on page 4 of Taifa Leo this morning. Let's see what we have next here. We buckle down to some business a bit. Turkey wins 1.6 billion shillings against state in cancelled IT. That is what we have as a splash here. Arbitrator Ringera falls termination of MES contract. 7 Seas had won deal to buy 98 public hospitals. Let me just read a snippet of you so that we can get a clear understanding there. Businessman and co-founder of the IT firm 7 Seas Technology Limited, Michael Masharia, has won a 1.6 billion shillings award against the government following a cancelled contract to wire 98 state hospitals. Retired judge and now arbitrator Aaron Ringero found the state at fault in terminating the 4.7 billion shillings contract that demanded 7 Seas Technologies Limited provide the technology component of the Managed Equipment Services MES plan. 7 Seas Technology was awarded the contract in October 2017, and part of the deal was the provision of teleradiology, which allows doctors in top hospitals like Kenyatta Hospital. And it continues on page 2 there. You can grab a copy of the Business Daily. Treasury struggles as fuel subsidy hits 71 billion shillings in 6 months. And you can look also at the ticker. Taxes spoils the party for Miraa exporters. MPs plot to keep CDF despite court order. We'll hear from members of parliament on this as well. The battle to wrestle the Constituency Development Fund from the control of the legislators is set for a new phase as MPs plot a new strategy to defeat the court order. You have the story on page 4 and 5 of the Business Daily. Excuse me. This is the Business Daily for you. Also, we have the editorial cartoons. I'm getting some strong and strange reverberating signals. Nothing strange. The presidential election results are heading to the Supreme Court. Even the aliens, they know it. That nothing is new when it comes to the presidential election in this country. I'm getting some strong and strange reverberating signals, they say. Nothing strange. The presidential election results are headed to the Supreme Court. Mind you, without ICC, international community and donors, this is what also the small rod is saying down there, if you can see. Let's see also, I shall show you other editorial cartoons. But in the meantime, allow me to rope in Okongo Mogini, who's joining us this morning, freshly, of course, from the battle of making sure he maintains his seat in Nyamira. It will be a good chance for me also to congratulate him. Congratulations, good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Debala. And thank you for those nice compliments and for congratulating me.
Yes.
And of course, first I want to really thank Almighty God.
Yes.
And the people of Nyamira for giving me a second chance.
Yes.
To continue serving them as their senator. Debala, you know that out of the 47 senators who served in the 12th Parliament, only 17 made it back. So I really must thank Almighty God that I'm among the 17 who managed to convince the electorates that we deserved a second chance. So, and really the win was overwhelming. More than 2 times the candidate who was placed second. So with
so
humility,
you had 17 on the run, actually.
What do you mean 17 on the run?
No, I heard you saying 17. Well, there's 17 contestants.
Out of 47 senators who served in the 12th Parliament, only 17 were re-elected back to the Senate. So we have 30 new senators joining us in the 13th Parliament. In Nyamira contest, we had 9 candidates running for Senate. And really I emerged number 1, and the second candidate did not even get half the number of votes that I received. So I really want to thank, with humility, the people of Nyamira for giving me the honor and chance to again serve them in the Senate for a second consecutive term. But also generally, Dibal, to really thank the people of Kenya because this was a fairly peaceful election. We didn't have cases of violence. I didn't see cases of intimidation. We were able to carry our campaigns in a very free environment. We were given the chance to campaign, sell our policies to our people. The security agencies were in place. They did a very good job, and we must thank all of them. And that's how it should be. The only thing I want to mention, Dibali, is that we must reform the way we conduct our elections. Either we need to rethink whether there is wisdom in us continuing having 6 elections in one election. Because, you know, we closed the voting on Tuesday. I was not issued with my certificate till Friday, 2 p.m. You know, you can imagine that is waiting for 3 nights before getting your certificate. I don't think an election should be as punishing as this one was. Maybe we need to borrow what happens in the US and we stagger this election. Maybe we hold 3 elections together with the presidential election, and then we break the county elections for governor, senators, and MCAs to be conducted on a different date. Otherwise, it's, I mean, you look at the officials who are running the exercise, and you're talking about people who have not slept for 3 nights. They have not gone back to their homes for 3 nights. It's bordering on being inhuman. So I think as a country we need to rethink whether there is wisdom in us having 6 elections in one day. It's too much for the election officials.
It's too much for them.
Yeah, it's too much for them.
And I think also this, they raised it in their post-election analysis of 2017, we should consider staggering this election so that at least we don't have all of them being put in one day. It's getting a big toll for them as well. Good. Let me just rope in Wilson Sozion as well. It's good to see you on the other side of elections, but still we are waiting to hear the judgment from the Supreme Court, because now there's a mayor.
I think the bill, first and foremost, let's acknowledge that there was election and the president-elect is declared. That's the truth of the matter. And it's premature to charm and put the fate of the entire electoral process in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will play its role. But we had peaceful elections on 9th of August. We had the due processes of processing the presidential votes, and for the first time IBC has done very well to ensure that the server was opened from the word go, and the portal contained forms 34As, which were all uploaded, and as Kenya Kwanza, we did our tallying and participated in the process of processing the results. And I can tell you very honestly, the several days that IBC took in processing Form 34A together with 34B and cross-checking the hard copies with the soft copies of each of the copy of the polling station was not just verification, but a thorough forensic audit that even the Supreme Court might miss what to do. And so, the truth is we have a president-elect, and it's a matter of time. This small little huddle of the Supreme Court it will come to pass, and William Ruto will be sworn in as the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. And Kenya should move on. And my brother Mogeni, congratulations for being elected senator, and I'm sure you can now confirm empirically what we were discussing here when we said Kenyans are tired and they want a change, they want a new lease of life and serious leadership. We've seen it all, and that exactly is where we are this morning. Wish to thank Kenyans for turning out in their numbers, exercising their democratic rights, and breaking ethnic barriers, and voting in leaders of their choice, right from president to MCS. And so Kenyans should not doubt. In fact, this is one of the weakest cases. Kongo Mogeni here is a good friend. When you can't take a matter to any court of law if you don't have facts of law, if you don't have watertight evidence. And so what is remaining is a mere routine process that we are very sure the Supreme Court will lack basis of nullifying the results or doing otherwise, and it shall only be left with the option of upholding the results and having the president-elect sworn in within 7 days.
All right, but Azimio team believes it has a watertight case to prove election was not free and fair, that the Supreme Court judges should overturn it. This is what is on the front page of the Standard this morning. And we have Sosion also saying that they'll have a hard time, trying to prove that there are actually loopholes in that electoral process, as it were. But you might just flip through the front page of the Standard, because these are the key issues that are likely to be raised there. And one is that the case will be crystallized around the announcement, the numbers, verification, the split in commission, and IBC's representation in courts, and the process. So the process also will be looked at. As Mio says, the process was not transparent, and that the commission did not display the results on the screens at Bomas of Kenya as they trickled in. It was there. Then towards the tail end, of course, of the trickling in of those particular results, it was not beamed. So that's a question that also will be raised. Azimio are also banking on disparity in numbers. If the numbers of votes declared will exceed those cast, IBC will have to explain how they arrived at the winner. Questions also on the numbers in some forms 34A and 34B will also be at the heart of the case. It is alleged that in some cases the votes for presidential candidates exceed or are less for other positions. And 5, the coalition will also go for the Kenya Integrated Elections or Election Management System, that is KEMS kits. They will push for audit of the kits to compare the tally of the votes cast. So, you want to react to some of these queries that are raised here?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I will.
Go there, let's just hear from...
I will.
Just a moment. Let's hear from Kongo Mogeni.
First, Dibal, you can never first downplay the role that the Supreme Court plays in an election petition. So I don't think it's right for my good friend Sosion to wish away the role of the Supreme Court in an election petition. I think they need to go back and wake up to the reality that when you take a matter to the Supreme Court, there is enough evidence, the election could be nullified, the Supreme Court could order a retally, and the situation could change. So it's too early to start celebrating. And also we really need to thank the people of Kenya for enacting the 2010 Constitution, because without this new Constitution debate, maybe we could have had William Ruto sworn at night. But the beauty is that you will never be sworn in before any party who is aggrieved moves to court, files a petition, and the petition is heard by the Supreme Court and a verdict is delivered. So as we speak, we are not yet done with the 2022 presidential election. This battle must go to the Supreme Court, and I must say I'm one of the most saddened and disappointed Kenyan. Dibal. I've served this country in very key public bodies, including serving as President of Law Society, Chair of Ethics and Corruption Commission, I've never seen a situation where a chairman displays inability of working with other members like the way Chebukati has done. You know, in succession, it's just been wars and infighting. You know, that's what has defined the tenure of Chebukati. He could not work with his former CEO, Chiloba. He was not able to work with Akombe, who resigned and took off to the US. Chebukati was not able to work with 4 other commissioners, including Ms. Maina and the others who resigned and left the 3 in office. Now he has been given 4 new commissioners. He's not able to work with them. I mean, it's a facade, really. I don't think anybody has ever run a public body the way Chebukati has run IEBC. And you cannot tell Kenyans that the tallying and verification of elections was free, fair, when out of 7 commissioners, 4 commissioners, and these are not just politicians or ordinary Kenyans, these are people who have been given a mandate to run a constitutional body. They are telling Kenyans that this process was not open, it was opaque, it was not free and fair, and we cannot agree with what is being announced by our chair. So it means what we have is just a unilateral declaration by the chairman that does not comply with the provisions of Article 138.3, sub-Article C, which says that after we vote and we all agree, I don't think anybody can say there was violence in our election. The voting was free and fair. Where we have an issue is how the tallying happened at Bomas. And we really want to understand how, as Kenyans, do we now take this commission that is clearly divided down the middle. 4 commissioners have taken a different position. The chair and 2 commissioners have taken a different position. That's not a small matter. You know, I'm just pondering to wonder, even if you are appearing before the Supreme Court, how will that decision turn out to be? It will be, the majority will carry the day. Even if the Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice and 1 member, just to give an hypothetical example, takes a different position, it is the 4 whose position will be announced to Kenyans. So when you are in a public office, like an important office like IBC, you must demonstrate that as a leader, you are able to build teamwork, and this is not a one-man show, but it's a body that is run by 7 Kenyans, men and women. And the decision that we need to see as Kenyans is a decision that is coming from that team of 7. It's collegial responsibility. It's collegial exercise of power. You're not a president of a private primary school where you wake up one morning and say, as a headmaster, I'm announcing that I've closed this primary school or I've passed such and such a decision. This is a very serious exercise, serious undertaking. You're making an announcement that will determine who will be the chief executive of a country for the next 5 years. And Kenyans, in their wisdom, I mean, you go to countries like Bahamas, you will find that they have 1 chief electoral officer. So that 1 person is the one who makes a decision on the elections. But the structure that we have in this country is one where we have 7 commissioners in place. And you need to ask yourself, going by the history of Kenya, why was that safeguard put, or rather safety net put in our constitution? It's because we didn't want to entrust this very serious process in the hands of 1 Kenyan. So Kenyans felt that if we have 7, at least the country will be safer. You'll have a team of 7 that will run this exercise and guarantee Kenyans that the elections will reflect their will. It is the expression of the people's will. So to me, really, without even going to the merits of the case, the way we have seen the leadership of Chebukati, the way he has run IEBC, is not something I can be proud of if I was in his shoes. Because if I'm heading a body, then I should be able to lead a team of members. I should be able to demonstrate to the Kenyans that even the people I'm leading have confidence in me as a person. But looking at his history and the wars that
we'll
we have had in that
look
commission,
into that. We'll look into that. Thank you.
It casts a lot of doubt on his leadership, his integrity, and how Kenyans can trust that office.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me just drop in Gladys Australia. Good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
After the bruising battle on the ground as well. This is where we pop the champagne.
Yes.
We should be popping one for Senator Okongo Morgan here and you, and eagerly waiting also for Farah Maalim to join us also.
No, but I'm saying the yeah for my president. Not for me.
Not for you.
Yeah, the president.
Yeah, for the president. And that's what actually we are discussing this morning. But the question that we're putting on the table is, so far we've seen IBC, every election hearing here, it exposes their soft underbelly. But this one is unprecedented. This has never happened before. Where now we'll have IBC going to the courts when they are divided, right? So how will it be also for this particular IBC in this particular new script that we've never had before, divided IBC before the Supreme Court? You have worked before in this electoral agency. Have you ever experienced this before? Because we know it has been also a battle between the commissioners and the secretariat, even before. But today, it's the commissioners pleading, not even the secretariat.
First of all, I know I've listened to what Senator Mogeni has said. But when I speak, I'm speaking with authority. I was in Bomas from the beginning to the end. I think Honorable Sosion joined us on day 2 or 3, but he did. So we were there. We sat through it. When you talk about IEBC being divided, I think Honorable Sosion can confirm that those 4 commissioners were on the floor of Bomas the entire time. In fact, the 3 people that I referred to whenever there was a problem was Francis Wanderi, Justus, what is his name? Justus
Obonyo.
And Chirera. So when I saw them come out, I was like, but you were with us. In fact, I never at one point saw CHebukati at all. They were in charge of the floor. Commissioner Francis Wanderi was on the floor. Commissioner Chirera was announcing the results throughout. And I will tell you something. I feel sorry for Raila Odinga. He doesn't have any troops. Because when they came to Bomas, they came with their empty hands. Their job was to say, I think Gladys is stealing. I think we have, the handwriting is the same and so on. We had, by that time, all the forms from our agents loaded onto our laptops. We had even the video clips of the announcement. So the team of amazing young people that were working for the president-elect at that time on the floor of Bomas kept checking their laptops, what they have on the laptop and what the returning officer was bringing to Bomas, and were checking what is on the porthole. By that time, we had downloaded one by one every form that was from there, that had come out of the porthole. So we worked it out. Raila Odinga's agents came to Bomas with their hands empty, with nothing. By the time Governor Charity Ngilu took my laptop, which I don't have back up to this day, she snatched it. I remember telling her, I said to her, I mean, what are we supposed to refer to? Because the option was to have 46,000 plus forms printed and brought to Bomas times 12 desks. We couldn't do that. And the compromise was we were allowed to bring the laptops because it was easier to refer to the soft copy that was on the computer. So even as Raila Odinga's people dispute the results, poor Raila Odinga, his people don't work for him. His people lie to him. Because even the chief agent had no reference document, Saitabao. I was there. Just even look at the footage. Did you see Saitabao with even any document? He was just walking around, making noise, and lying to Raila that he was checking his results. They never checked the results. By the time we got to Bomas, our team already had computed the results from what was on the portal, the public portal, and we knew the figures. So we took the job seriously. Unfortunately, Raila's team did not take the job seriously. They lied to their principal, and I feel sorry for him. Yeah.
So when we had...
and I mean, I looked at him and I said to myself, when I watched the young people who worked with us at Bomas, they did it out of passion. They did it out of the love for William Ruto. They did it because they were inspired by him. They put in hours and they did it with all their hearts. But the people that Raila Odinga brought to Bomas, they were standing there shouting, making noise just for him to watch them on TV shouting. But they were not actually working. That's why they did not believe they had lost, even at the last minute. I already knew the figures. I remember speaking to one of my friends who's on the other side, and I said to her, why are you guys happy and you're losing? She told me, no, it's a runoff. I told her it's not a runoff. Then the next person comes in, Millie Odhiambo says, it's a runoff. I'm like, it's not a runoff. Where were you guys? So these guys had no figures even up to the last minute. When they accused me of carrying papers out of Bomas, is every time the returning officer appeared on a desk, they brought their original form. We checked it using the IV lights,
for the security
features and so on, and a copy would be given to all the agents. And so so every time we finished one constituency, I put all the Form 34As in a folder, marked it, and signed by all the agents, and evacuated it out of Bomas. That's what I was doing. So I have all the forms signed by their agents. So I don't think Raila Odinga has spoken to his agents, because his agents signed.
So
were there.
Why would Charity Ngilu...
But I think, just to tip, I wanted to understand. I don't understand how agents could be signing Form 34A in Bomas. Because agents, Form 34A are the primary documents at the polling station.
From the polling station.
They are supposed to be signed at the polling station.
We're not saying Form 34A.
Yes.
It was...
Because the next form is Form 34B, which again agents sign at the constituency level. The form that is supposed to be signed here is Form C, and the person who's supposed to sign that is our chief agent at Bomas.
Okay, let me correct that.
So you cannot tell us that...
in Bomas...
Just a minute, Deban.
Okay.
So that, we are lawyers. Shuri is a good lawyer, I'm a good lawyer. So that when you make it look to the public that there were agents for UDA that were signing Form 34 at Bomas, and Azimio did not have agents, that's not factually correct. We can be told about the process that took place at the polling stations. That's where there is a critical role that is supposed to be played by agents. And the procedure is that Dibal once voting closes at the polling station, counting is done, the presiding officer invites agents at that polling station, if they agree with the results, to sign. So we should be talking about the role that agents played at the polling stations, not at Bomas. So this idea of saying that Cholet is very sympathetic to Raila, that there were no agents at Bomas, that's not correct, because our chief agent, who was at Bomas, was very vigilant. And I would like to know if a laptop was seized. I don't know who seized it, but if at all it was seized, then it's good to know what contents were there, because this election, we all agree, was done freely at the polling station. The issues we have is the tally. And I've learned something this morning which I'm very proud of and happy about. Because I'm told by Gladys Cholet this morning that while at Bomas, there were two commissioners who were exercising their mandate under Article 138(3)(c), who were doing the tallying, verification, and announcement of results. That is Commissioner Francis Wanderi and the Commissioner Chirera. So we need to hear from these commissioners who are in office. They did the tallying. Up to what level? What are the issues? Because these are not politicians. These are people exercising a constitutional mandate. If they were with Gladys, at what level did we have problems? If Cherera and Wanderi were there, they were in charge of this process. CHebukati was there. At what time did CHebukati kick them out and take over the process?
Okay, allow me to say this.
Could you hang on? Then we just see.
No. I think
Yeah.
Sosyan would allow me to say something.
Okay. All right.
Let me say this, because I think what he's saying is inaccurate. We were not saying that that Form 34A was being signed in Bomas. Actually, what was happening in Bomas was confirming the Form 34A that came from the polling station.
You're verifying.
Because the law is that Form 34A is the final document from the polling station. That's what the law is. What we were doing is verification. What was happening in Bomas was tallying.
So what I wanted to know, the signing. You said there was somebody signing.
Hold on, let me finish. The Form 34A, we were not producing a new Form 34A in Bomas. In Bomas, we were verifying the Form 34A that came from the polling station and confirming that it's the same one that our own agents had. That's all we were doing. And CHebukati was not creating new results. He was confirming the result that had been announced in the polling station. And what he was doing is doing math. We were adding up the numbers in Bomas. In Bomas, there is a document, I think it was called, there is a document, it's when the returning officer comes to Bomas, delivers, so it's like a verification document. So you're confirming that he has delivered his Form 34s from all the polling stations in his constituency, and that is what we are signing, receipt of the documents. And the agents of Raila Odinga signed that document and said, we have received, we have seen, we have checked that that was a true original. The people who were in Bomas, actually, Raila Odinga had a chief agent and he had many deputy chief agents. I was a deputy chief agent. He was a deputy chief agent.
Sosyan.
Yes, also. So we had, and all the people you saw on the floor were also deputy chief agents. They were agents. That is the badge that we were given by IEBC, that we are agents. So how come he doesn't know that there were agents in Bomas? There were agents in Bomas.
No. You know, Gladys.
And then,
as
lawyers,
you
had your chance.
No. Dibal, please.
Just
I'm on national TV. What I wanted clarified, and which has been clarified, is this allegation that was being made that our agents at Bomas did not sign Form 34A.
They were making noise. They were not working.
Which is not factually correct. In fact, the only form that you can produce before the Supreme Court that was supposed to be signed by our chief agent is Form C. That's the only document that you can produce in court and say, we brought the results to Bomas, tallying and verification was done, Form C was generated, and the chief agent of Azimio presidential candidate
when the documents
signed.
are delivered. It was a delivered note.
I mean, we are lawyers. When you go to court, and we have done petitions, I'm sure Shola has also done election petitions. The only form that is known in our laws that you can produce in court are those statutory forms, and it can only be Form A, Form B, and Form C. So if our agent did not sign Form C in Bomas, it means there were issues with the tallying and verification.
Because he was busy attacking people.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
he committed election offenses instead of signing the form.
So Dibal, you cannot make an allegation that the agent of Azimio signed the form. That's not factually correct.
Thank you. All right, let's hear from Sosyan, and even as
Dibal, I was an agent at Bomas, and we were at Bomas from Tuesday 9 with Gladys Bose and the rest. And it is shocking to see members of the IEBC who presided over the verification process from the first polling station to the last polling station. That is what verification was all about. When I looked at the vice chair of the commission, and with due respect, Okongo Mogeni, we are not here to begin creating a process of prosecution of the chair of IEBC or talk about administrative structures of the IEBC. We are talking about the elections and tallying. And when you looked at the vice chair coming out and talking about a mathematical error of 0.01% of 14 million translating to 140,000, when it actually mathematically translates to 1,400, then you wonder about the credibility and capacity of such a person. When she argued that Raila Odinga, the argument that Raila Odinga got 25% in 36 counties and William Ruto 39% in 39 counties, 25% in 39 counties, then she was wondering whether the counties are actually 72, forgetting that mathematically, even all the 47 counties can qualify for presidential candidates in one election with minimum 25%. And you look at academic and professional capacity of these particular individuals, and I'm sure this process is exposing the underbelly of these 4 commissioners, and probably how did they end up at the IEBC? Were they appointed and deployed at the IEBC for a certain exercise which failed? Because those mathematical expressions are fundamentally wrong, even for a primary school standard 8 teacher. But let's go back to the questions you raised in the beginning, the key issues that Azimio are raising. And I would say Azimio representatives in the entire tallying process were rudderless, clueless, and had no information, and actually were on holiday at Bomas. They were not working. Number one, did Azimio download all the 46,000 forms and even did the tallying before their agents came to Bomas? No, they didn't. They didn't have this data on the table and in all the verifications desks. So they were working without information, and they were shocked with the outcome of the results in the end. Number one, Kenya Kwanza invested in tallying and downloading every Form 34A from the portal. Kenya Kwanza invested in personnel that did tallying, and all of us as agents in Bomas, we were working with information, and we had results downloaded from the portal and table for each one of us. Azimio didn't have, they were on holiday. And every time, even when results were announced,
they were not writing down.
They were not writing anything. They were walking in and walking out. But for us, we were cross-checking and
took
doing
copies.
the adding, 2 copies. Now, to the issues that have been that have been raised by the Standard, and I would say, yes, the media is free to report. But I would say, Dibal, when we were here, we even raised issues about the opinion polls, that they were wrong, they were not properly being casted, and that the media were also not reporting accurately. Nobody should now begin engaging in a fishing expedition in the Supreme Court that something is going to change. It is about counting the numbers. Number one, the question is on the maths. The crystallization of issues around the announcement and the numbers and the verification. I can say on all the tables where Cherera and the rest of the group was supervising and checking, we all cross-checked the hard copies of Form 34As brought by the returning officers, and with the soft copies of every 34A in the portal using the laptops that we had. Of course, we had our additional laptops because we had downloaded. And since Azimio didn't have their laptops and had not downloaded,
they were busy stealing
they were busy stealing ours and creating unnecessary fight. But, of course, the drama of Gilwen.
When you use such words as stealing, really, I think
they
it's
did
really
steal. It was on TV.
Yeah.
What do you mean it was stolen?
They snatched them and took them.
Now, Debal, allow me to prosecute.
But stealing and nabbing is dramatically different.
Away from that, those are English words. Those are English words. But If we were getting all the forms 34A, form 34A, form by form, delivered by the returning officer, and we were cross-checking agents of Azimio and agents of Kenya Kwanza and agents of Wachakoya and the other, and Maure, we all cross-checked, and we were comparing with the soft copy on the portal. And by the way, we have all the soft copies of Form 34A for each constituency, and we cleared. At some point, at some point, we thought the exercise was too detailed and was more forensic than verification. But as Emil said, let's continue doing it in that manner. And therefore, we verified all the hard copies and all the soft copies in the portal from the first polling station to the last polling station on the last day. And therefore, the issue of mathematics cannot arise because we verified and approved.
All right.
And the tallies.
You've made your point.
And the tallies of the numbers.
We'll come to the tally.
And the tallies of the numbers.
We'll come to the tally. Thank you.
And the tallies
Just
of the numbers.
Hang on with your thought. We need to rope in also Farah Maalim is here. And congratulate him as well. Yeah, Farah Maalim, good to see you. Now member of parliament of Dadaab.
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. So we're still on the IBC and the way forward regarding also the Supreme Court a judgment that is still pending. Today will be the day that they will be filing the petition. Yes. What have you observed so far yourself?
Well, I was not an agent, and the information we have out there, I mean, different outfits have different information. There is two things that are going to come out. If indeed it is true that the Form 34 in favor of the presidential candidates does not tally with the overall numbers in all the other contestations, then there's something that's not right. Whether that was done, I don't think anybody could have had the time to do stuffings. Maybe in some places, yes. But even then, because of the manner in which the Kims work, there is no way you can steal. You see what I mean? So if that disparity is going to be proven, and then the issue of the materiality then comes in and says it is material enough to upset the results, the final results, then it's a done case. This election is going to be repeated. It will be nullified and repeated. Now, whether our lawyers will be able to prove that is an issue for us. We're now debating something that essentially should be debated on the floor of the courts, in the Supreme Court itself. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Whatever we're saying right now is neither here nor there. The information will be found in there.
So it's purely speculative?
Yes. Okay. And now the thing that personally, the smoking gun, according to the information I hear, because I cannot say that I saw it myself and I witnessed it and I'm willing to. The Christians say, cross my heart, but in our case we say, you swear to the Holy Quran, that actually this is what is there, the disparity is there. No, the disparity will have to be proven in the court itself. But if indeed it's there, all you need to do is have about 15,000, 46,000 out of the 46,000, what do you call them, centers or stations? Polling stations, yes. Polling stations. If you can alter the figures in that final Form 34 only in about 10,000 of them or 15,000 of them and have, because there's a maximum of 700 votes in every stream. Now in every stream, if you can only add 60 or 70, you multiply that, it comes to almost a million plus for 15,000 polling stations. You get my point? It might look like a small number. Out of 600 or 700 votes there, 60 or 55 or whatever it is. And the difference here, the margin here is only 200 plus thousand. You move 150,000 out of this and move it to the other, the election is a different thing altogether. So it is razor thin, and the speculation that we have in there is that we're going to prove in excess of 1 million votes that do not reflect in the MCA, in the governor, in the MP, in the senator, that will only be reflected in the what do you call the presidential elections. That is it's an open and shut case. She's a lawyer. Do you understand? It's an open and shut case. We can say all the stories. So and so stole, so and so punched somebody, and you can say everything. The bottom line is do these things tally? Do these things, are they the same? What I know myself is that I am made to understand that we also made our own mistakes. We did not have agents in many of these places, presidential agents in many of these places, particularly in Rift Valley and Central Province. But that's not to say that you can still steal it and get away with it. You can change the will of the people of Kenya and get away with it. And I'm not saying that in finality. We'll have to see what is proven on the floor of that in the court, in the Supreme Court itself. Okay. Yeah.
Right. We want to take a short break, but even as we do that, maybe we could be marinating over, and the biggest question is as well, there was a beaming of this tallying on the screens there on Bomas of Kenya, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of it, it disappeared. Is there any rhyme or reason why this happened? IBC did not really come forth to explain to Kenyans why there was no beaming of those results as it was accustomed to, and people were expecting this to continue. So that will be, I think, something we can handle on the other side of a break. We take a short break right now. When we circle back, of course, we continue with more here on Standpoint this morning here on Morning Prime. I'm holding court with Farah Malim Okongo